Good morning, all students. We were in this chapter of tuples and dictionary, and by far, these are the contents that has been discussed in the video modules. We discussed what is a tuple. We discussed how the two ways by which tuple can be created. We discussed with example why tuple is immutable. Uh, Technically, because tuple is immutable, there is no direct method to insert elements one by one into a tuple, but we had discussed one unofficial method by which elements can be inserted into a tuple one by one. And last week I discussed certain operations on tuple like slicing. If you just remember, slicing in tuple is same as slicing the list, that is having maybe starting value, you can say ending value plus 1, and there is a step counter. Okay, and if we want to go in the reverse direction for slicing, starting value we have ending value minus 1, and I think most probably we are using a negative step. Okay, then we learned about how concatenation of tuple is there, that is joining a tuple just simply by using you can say plus. Repetition, any number of elements in tuple can be repeated using star, and number of times the repeat you can say we want. And finally the operation we saw was count. I think it was working like tuple name dot count, and we were specifying the element for whose count we want. That means how many times a particular element is repeated in a tuple. Okay, so these were all the things that we had discussed till now in the tuples chapter. It is always nice to have, you can say, overlook of what things we have gone through in this chapter of tuple and dictionary, especially the tuple part. Now, in this video, I will be discussing tuple functions. Okay, now we before this we completed the chapter of list. After the before that we started the and completed the chapter of string. Comparatively, as comparing to tuple, list has more number of functions. The only reason is list is more accessible by the method of index. List is mutable, so comparatively as compared to tuple, which is unfortunately immutable, list has more number of functions. Okay, tuple will have comparatively less number of function as compared to list. The only reason is tuple is immutable, means directly officially Python does not support most of the methods of list in case of tuple. Okay, so we are mostly going to see 5 or 6 functions. First of them is very common, that is length. Then we are going to discuss you can say repetitive function that we call count. Already discussed, but still we will discuss. Then we will discuss a new function any. After any we will discuss one group functions, that is max and minimum. Okay, self-explanatory. Then I think we will discuss one function that is same like list, but the name is different, that is called sorted. Remember, in list we used to make use of sort. Here the function is changed, name is changed, that is called sorted. And finally we will make use of a very easy function, that is index. So we have only 6 functions that are related to a tuple. Okay, unlike list where we had at least 8 to 10 to 12 functions, we have only 6 functions that can be related to a tuple. Let us exercise the use of all of them one by one. Uh, Togetherly, what I can do, I can give you one more revision of how we can create or insert elements into a tuple one by one. Okay, so we will have a nice revision of that along with discussion of all these functions. Fine. So let us take a blank tuple. We can take any name. Let us take M. Fine. I will ask the user how many elements would he require in the tuple, just for a formal revision. So let us say number of elements. Done. I will make the use of the loop for I in range 0 comma length of n, and I will take one, what you can say, element. Let the element be k equal to input. let us say element, and finally what we can do, m equal to, m is the tuple name, m plus k, and comma means space for more elements is there. I will just print the tuple m. Okay, small minor, you can say minor revision of how we can enter multiple elements in the tuple one by one. Suppose I want 5 elements. Okay, integer object has no length. Okay, very sorry, my mistake here. Okay, I don't want length, I only want end. Okay, okay, suppose 5, so let us say 9, 8, 7, 6 and 5. Okay, so small revision of how we can enter elements into a tuple one by one. By mistake I took length. Length we will not use because technically we know how many number of elements we want, that is n, so there is no need of length. Length of n will be 1, but again n is an integer. Okay, and I already told you that length is only possible for string and list and tuple. Unfortunately n is only integer, so no need of taking length. Okay, that was a mistake from my side. Fine, so this is okay. Now let us exercise these functions one by one. Fine, suppose I want to exercise length. Fine, so nothing new for us, length, and I want length of the tuple, so len of tuple name is m. Okay, very simple. Suppose I want 6 elements, so 2, 3, 4 and some elements. Fine, so length is 6, not a problem. Again I discussed with you, you can say very properly, how we will access each and every element of a tuple. For I in range 0 comma length of m, and very simply I will print tuple name is m, m of I. Okay, so we will get access to each and every element of a tuple line by line. Remember, I am just revising up the things. Okay, I am only revising up each and every thing possible. Fine. So I think first type of you can say tuple function has no issue from our side. Count. I want to, you can say, count occurrences of some element of a tuple. Fine. So simply I will ask the user, let us, if we are doing, let us do a proper program only. We will ask the user that which element you want to count. That way we can do, or simply just to, you can say, explain this stuff to you, I can just take one more tuple, but no problem, because we are doing this program. Let us continue in the flow of this. Suppose I am asking the user that let us say variable p, input element whose count is needed. Okay, now whatever you can say the user enters will be stored in the variable p, and just I will print tuple name dot count element. And as you know, if count is if that element is present, then tuple will give the count. If element is not present, tuple will give 0, or the program will give 0. Fine, so let us see. Suppose I want 6 elements. Randomly let us enter some values, and tuple will support all different kinds of values, whatever is applicable. Element whose count is needed. Obviously I have not written any element twice, so let us say 34. 34 is repeated once, correct? And I think in the previous week I already told you that if you don't want the count 0, if you want your program to work in a more you can say sophisticated manner, and you don't want any element whose count is 0 to be printed, you can go for one small thing, that if p in, let us say I think you may need to go for loop. Without that also it is possible. If p in m, that means if the element which the user wants to search is in the tuple, then only I will display the count, else we can print up a message that p is not present in the tuple. Okay, just means in the flow I am doing this program just for revision. Okay, otherwise I could have directly worked with the count function also. Let us say I want only 3 elements, 1, 2 and 3. Suppose I want 8, and as you can see 8 is not present in the tuple. So instead of printing the count 0, this can also be done. Okay, not mandatory, just I am explaining you the things. So I think there is no you can say issue in this count function syntax. I hope you are all understanding what is the syntax of count function. Tuple name dot count, in argument element will be there, correct? Fine. Now for this any max means sorted and index, I am breaking out of this because otherwise it will be extended very long. Now suppose I have a tuple which I am manually creating 1 2 3 4 5 99 98 97 96, okay, randomly. Now what is the meaning of this any function? It is first of all a boolean function. Okay, boolean function means you understand it will either return true or it will return false. Okay, so what is the use that if tuple contains any element, it will return true, correct? It will return true. And the opposite of that if tuple does not contain any element means if the tuple is blank, it will return false. Okay, let us put this through test. Okay, and syntax for your kind reference is any, and inside we will use the tuple name. I think this is the correct syntax of the same. Let us exercise this over this. Print any and tuple name, correct? Now my tuple has elements, so it is returning me true. My tuple has elements, it will return true. If tuple contains any element, it will return true. Suppose I take one more tuple and which I choose to be blank. Now if I do print any of m is a tuple but it is blank, so it is returning false. Okay, so a very useful function maybe in some bigger program to just check whether any means tuple has any element or not. But given the word that it is useful, we have, you can say, options for this. Instead of using any, just if we want to check whether tuple has any element or not, so this is one option. I think compared to this we have another option which is more popular, that is length. Okay, this is okay. I hope you should understand the meaning that if tuple has any element whatsoever, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Okay, useful function. But we have a more generic function for checking such kind of things, whether the tuple is having element or not, that is length. Okay, that is more widely used as compared to this. And one more advantage of length is it will work with any data type. Let it be string, let it be list, let it be tuple, let it be dictionary. Okay, so this is any is a function that is not available for list, string or dictionary. It is only available for tuple. Okay, and almost it performs the same job as length does. Indirectly it is telling us whether tuple is having element or whether it is blank or not. But I feel length is a more useful function for doing such kind of approaches. Fine. So that was about any. I don't think I need to tell anything much about max and min. Okay, it will find out the maximum and the minimum element from the tuple. Syntax is very simple. Syntax is max, in bracket we will use the tuple name, and for minimum again the syntax is min, we will use the tuple name. Okay, I am not writing any theory about that. It is fairly easy to understand that max and min will respectively find out the maximum and minimum element from inside a tuple. So let us find this out only. Max, I will put max of t, and for minimum I can put minimum of t. Okay, just a moment, minimum of t, and let me choose one negative value also, so that we verify that these things are working exactly and properly. Correct? Fine. So that was about max and min. Now if you remember the list chapter, to sort the list, what we were using list name dot sort, and that time I told you that it will sort only in ascending order. Okay, same thing is there in tuple, but the function name changes. Okay, it is sorted. It is sorted. Again the same thing. It will sort the tuple only in ascending order, and the syntax is sorted. Inside we will have tuple name. So it is working differently. As I told you in list, how it worked, list name dot sort. Okay, this is how it was working, but in tuple it will work in a different manner, sorted, and in the argument we will have tuple. So please remember these small things. Let us do the same with this, print sorted, and we will have the tuple name t. Fine. And as you can see, this is sorted. And one more thing, let us write the theory also. One more very important thing, it will sort the tuple in ascending order. One very important thing is this. Let me write the syntax. I think syntax is sorted, and inside we will have the tuple name. Very important thing, it will give output in form of a list. Okay, in form of a list. That is internally Python's dealing. I cannot do much about the same. Okay, I am just showing this thing to you once again. I will print the tuple also. See, this is my original tuple. My tuple is printed, and once I am using the sorted function, you will see that it is giving us the output no longer. This is the original tuple. Once we are sorting it using the sorted function of tuple, it is giving us the output no longer in tuple. It is giving the output in the form of a list. Okay, so again my words will be true that list is the major data type. All other data types revolve around list only. Okay, so please make sure that this minute difference is known to you. And syntax is means little different. In list we were using list name dot sort. Here we are using sorted, not sort, sorted, and we will use tuple. What if I try sort? Some students will have the thing, what if I try sort? Sort is not defined. Okay, so clear proof that sort and sorted are different. Sort is for list, sorted is for tuple. Last you can say is index. I don't think we need to speak much about this except the syntax. Syntax will be fairly simple. Tuple name dot index, and we will be able to specify the element. Okay, if element is present, index will be given. Otherwise, most probably it will give index out of range error. Okay, so print tuple name dot index. Suppose I want index of 98, and let me print up the same. 98 is at 6th index. Let us check 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So index is working properly. Suppose I want index of 198. If I am not wrong, index out of range will be, or some kind of that error will be found. Fine. So nothing new to discuss from my side for the index, you can say, function. Okay, students. So these were mostly, you can say, all the functions from tuple chapter. I again repeat, there are less number of functions in tuple chapter as compared to list. The only reason is tuple is not of the mutable type, so less functions support tuple. Still, before ending up, length counts the length of the tuple. Count will count occurrence of you can say a particular element inside a tuple. Any is a new function, not that useful, but it is a boolean function. It will return true if tuple has any element, and it will return false if the tuple is blank. And syntax is any. In argument we will use the tuple name. Max min, useful functions. We can easily directly find the highest or the biggest and the smallest elements inside a tuple. Sorted, it is just like sort, but work, you can say, syntax is totally different. And one important thing, it will sort in ascending order, and it will give us the output in the form of a list. And there is nothing much different in index method. Tuple name dot index, and if we specify the element, if that element is present, its index will be given back to us. Otherwise it will give you an error. Okay, so that would be all for all the functions of tuple chapter. We will meet in the next video with some other topics of this tuple. Thank you and have a